Jared here from Farmstrong with our Farmstrong ambassador, Samuel Whitelock, and our office today is in Earwell, which is pretty close to Oxford in the beautiful South Island. Pretty good office today there.
Yeah, no, it's good. Apparently the nor'west is meant to pick up, but I won't complain at the moment. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah. Actually, so today Sam and I are going to talk about an idea that we share through Farmstrong around actually what are the things that you can do, to look after your wellbeing. And we call it the Wellbeing bank account. You think of it a bit like a bank account, making small regular deposits in your wellbeing so that when you're going through tough times, you've got something to draw on to get you through. So yeah, if you're just looking at that list at the moment, with the things that you do in farming and in sport as well, what are some of the things that you find have withdrawals on your wellbeing?
For me, it's pretty easy. Obviously, play rugby, so accidents and injuries is a big one for me. Always love being out there playing or involved in the farming, so making sure I'm looking after my body as well as I can is probably the first one that pops up. Another one is with young kids, the pressure comes on with poor sleep, whether that's myself or my wife. Most people get pretty short when they're tired, so they're the first two that really grabbed me.
And what are some of the things that you and your family were dealing with and that you think you see a lot of in farming?
Yeah, I reckon for the family business, because on the Manawatu River, at times there's a big flood of the river when there's heaps of rain in the Hawke's Bay, or local rain can push the river up pretty quick and can put a lot of pressure on the milking platform and potentially take out up to a fifth of the farm. So that's a big one for the family farm. So making sure that that's going, and obviously every farmer knows what a drought's like.
Well, you've had that in your Hawke's Bay, haven't you?
Yeah, so it's something that you can't control. You can't control the weather, but you can definitely get prepared for it, having excess feed up your sleeve or reducing stock numbers, so less pressure on the farm. But obviously that all has effects on the bottom line. Probably
what about this sort of worrying too much? We hear quite a lot, there's a lot you can't control in farming. Have you, what have you learned over the years? Is this something that you see a bit as a withdrawal on your wellbeing?
Yeah, I think everyone has different challenges. Drought's one thing, M. bovis is something that the guys here have experienced, and you're allowed to worry about it, but the best terminology I've been told is make sure it's like a tap. So if you're going to have a complaint about something, turn the tap right on, have a good discussion and then turn it off. So there's nothing worse than having that tap half on and it's just dripping out constantly and you're worrying about something, or you're letting it take away versus giving you energy. So that's something that I've learnt definitely with sport, making sure that I'm not worrying about everything else, just worrying about what I need to worry about.
What do you think that would have an impact on you? What would be some of the impacts?
Well, I think if there's some awesome examples there. If you're going through all these different emotions, it's going to take away, or you will be affected with the way you're operating as a person, and obviously the way you're putting yourself out there will affect the people that are closest to you, but also your farm. Put pressure on the working relationship with either your boss or your employees. So it's good to be aware of some of these things, but I'm looking forward to getting into these things here that build it up.
So let's get on to talking about some of these investments, because actually what the science says is that the best way to manage some of these things is take an investment strategy to actually build up your well-being so that you can actually get through some of these tougher times and you're in a better headspace. So having a bit of that list, what are some of the investments that you make in your well-being?
For me personally, I love being outdoors, whether it's in the farming environment or even if I'm away in a different city or different country. When I feel like some of these things are becoming quite dominant, I love just going for a walk and getting out and just spending some time in fresh air. And one thing I love doing is obviously fishing and hunting. Love the connection that you have with it. Obviously, I'll put this one at top, family time. So young family at home, can be away for a number of weeks in a row. So making sure when I am at home, I'm at home. I'm not thinking about, what the next 3 days involved or when I leave again. So making sure that I'm spending heaps of time with Hannah, Fred and Iris is very important for myself. And that there is definitely top of the list, and everything else comes after that.
The idea behind this is, you start to have a bit of like a good bank balance, so that if you're dealing with some of these things, the best way to do is make sure that you're making good investments.
The other one is just trying to take some time throughout the day. So whether it's at the end of the day just reading a book or doing something completely different, something that's just for you. doesn't need to be a long time. It might only be 5-10 minutes before you go to sleep reading, which definitely for me, I get better sleep for it. So that's something that if I nail that, a lot of other things come from it. So.
And just one final thing you've talked to me about before is about learning new things. And I know during lockdown you were even just doing some about coaching, eh?
Yeah, I don't want to be a coach at the moment. I'm quite keen being a player, but been very lucky to have a pretty awesome career so far. And giving back is something that a lot of people did for me, so I'd love to be able to pass some of that knowledge back on to the next generation, whether that's under 5s, under 10s, or you've always been asked to give some advice to some people, so it'd be quite good to hopefully give good, clean advice that they're going to grab hold of and take forward.
Hey, so thanks, Sam. So if you look at that, I mean, in terms of dealing with the things both at sport and in your family farming business at the moment, making a good list of regular investments that help you get through the tough times.
The one thing I would say is it's quite interesting for rugby. Some of these things here are different for me. For farming, it's different because rugby and farming are different for me. Once I do end up back on the farm, it'll look completely different again. So making sure that you're always learning and evolving will be the big thing. And same with the withdrawals. Different pressures because you're doing something different.
Yeah. So it's constantly also just reassessing, regularly reassessing where your investments and withdrawals are at and what you can do differently.
No, it's good. Just even reading it a couple of times and having a look at it, there's different things there you go, yep, that's definitely me, or that's something I could probably work on and be better at.